Hey, if you didn't know what Justin Jefferson thought about getting an extension, you do now. Let's talk about it in three, two, one. Gather around, Skull brothers and sisters. This is Skull World, brought to you by Minnesota Sports Talk. I'm your host, Dave. You can follow me on Twitter, TikTok, and Facebook at Skull World. Make sure you leave a comment. Tell me what you think of all the comments Justin Jefferson said in multiple interviews. I saw four different interviews that he gave, and this is coming out a day later. But so on Wednesday, he gave four pretty long interviews and all about his possible extension and what he thought about Kirk. So we're gonna focus on like four comments, and here's my sense of things. So he's making the rounds. He's wanting an extension. He's doing publicity just like Kirk is, but they have different scenarios. Justin Jefferson is under contract and with a potential tag even in after his fifth year. So he's in a different situation. He he is going. I get a better sense of him going with a contract extension regardless of the situation. I think he feels like if he gets respected, he'll stay with Minnesota. I like that for the fact that if we do miss on a drafting a quarterback and he doesn't pan out, Justin Jefferson will be available as a Viking asset to trade down the road where we can reset the franchise. So that's of course if we miss on a quarterback, which cross our fingers, knock on fake wood, that won't happen. But let's talk about that first thing. Him. This is a quote. I'm not lying. I want to break the bank and be a part of an organization that wants me and to really give me what I deserve. So here's the context. In the interview, the guy says something about you're gonna break. I want you to break the bank, and they're laughing. He goes, I want, basically, I want to break the bank, and I think he also wants to go to an organization that wants me and is going to give me what I deserve. So that was in jest. Holy, and I know people on Twitter are posting that, and now they think he's all about the bag. But we do know that he's going to be the highest paid receiver, and he may want to be the highest paid non-quarterback, and that might be in the range of quarterback money, like good quarterback money. So we gotta be ready for that. We gotta be ready for it. I want it because I think we got, and this is me. You can think whatever you want, but this is me. We have a 2-year window, and it was even brought up in one of his interviews that, hey, you got what it takes now, and he agreed. He thinks Justin Jefferson thinks they got the team now to win, and so we will have the cap space in 2025, so we can afford a Justin Jefferson. We can, but we just need the defense to be in line and our quarterback situation not in flux anymore. But this was overblown a little bit. It was in jest. There was context left out. He did say a lot of good things about the Minnesota Vikings. Like, for instance, I feel eventually the Vikings will do what they need to do to have me in the building. So this is where the sense I got is that it's up to the Vikings to pay him and he'll stay. I feel more like that now. I was fed this line that, well, before he would say, I want to win. That's the most important thing. And people would tell me, well, we're going to move on from Kirk and we're going to put a rookie in there. Well, I want to win. And hey, let's go with unproven talent. Don't coexist too well. So, but now I get a more sense that he's more willing to take a good offer from the Vikings and get the respect and the money that comes with that respect. And it sounds like he's leaving it up to his agents. So I think we're good to go there if we just pay him the money. Now, if you saw my thumbnail, it's Rich Eisen. He did an interview with Justin Jefferson, and he asked what sense he had of Kirk Cousins' situation. And here's what he said. I would like him to. This is he's saying, what sense do you have of Kirk if he'd be back? Basically, if he'd be back or not. And he said this. He didn't answer the question. He actually said what he wanted. I would like him to stay. I would love him to stay and have that connection with them. He goes on to talk about that connection, consistent connection being important. He's also talked about how the Viking fans probably have more the word different word, but respect for Kirk Cousins now that he wasn't on the field. And he said the same thing. You could see the difference between me with that consistent quarterback and not, is what he was saying. He did have a big game with Nick Mullins. I think Dobbs and him weren't on a good connection, but him and Nick Mullins were, and Kirk Cousins were. But obviously, Kirk Cousins has a bigger arm than Nick Mullins. He's more experienced. He's a better player than Nick Mullins, obviously. But this is him. I would love him. I would like him to stay. Nay, I would love him to stay and have that connection with them. And one of his other interviews, he talks about what it could have been. What could it have been? Mark Florio and Sims. They talked about what could have been if they were both healthy. And Justin Jefferson thinks they would have done something this year only if him and Kirk were both healthy. So I think he wants to rewind it. He wants another opportunity at that. You get that sense from him. I think you should pay more attention to the words coming out of the players' mouths and the coaches' mouths and the GM's mouths than you do talking heads on various legacy platforms. The buzz is this, and this. No, where's your source? It didn't come out of anybody's mouth. It was a thought. And I think we, as fans, as YouTube content creators, probably should listen to the players and what they say consistently, and the coaches consistently over and over again without fail, saying the same thing. But we'll jump on a comment from a guy who has no idea what's going on. So I am paying, and a lot of people are telling me, well, what else is he supposed to say about Kirk Cousins? He wasn't asked, do you want him back? He was asked, do you have a sense of where Kirk is or is going to be? Do you have a sense where Kirk is going to be? He could have said, I don't know, man. He said this before. I don't know. It's up to them. I don't know if he'll be back. We may have to bring somebody in. He actually volunteered that he wants him to stay. So that take Justin Jefferson's words and do what you will with them. But he praised the heck out of Kirk Cousins every chance he got on the 4 interviews I watched. Here's one. People tell me all the time, anybody can throw to Kirk, anybody can throw to Justin Jefferson, anybody can throw to Justin Jefferson. I wouldn't be in this position without him throwing me the football. Quote, unquote. I wouldn't be in this position without him throwing me the football, talking about Kirk Cousins. I don't necessarily believe it at all, but to this extent, the yards, the accolades, the success he's had, the NFL records, the Vikings records, would he have done it with just anybody? There's only been 5 receivers in the history to have over 1,800 yards or something like that. And Kirk Cousins and Justin Jefferson are one of those. So there is some truth to it. It's not the end all be all. Take with it what you will. Justin Jefferson, quote, unquote, I would like him to stay. I would love him to stay and have the connection with him. So he's got one advocate. We will know in March whether or not we go with Kirk or we go against Kirk. Hey, either direction, fine by me. But we know what Justin Jefferson thinks. He said it multiple times, 4 different interviews, very consistent. He likes Kirk. Would love to have him back. Cue the music. Let's go Vikings.